If money is not an issue, what will be your chosen profession? Where would you work if not for money? Write in the comments what you think. Enjoy watching. Story 1. I would build tiny house communities for people who are trying to transition to real housing, people experiencing homelessness, those who are recovering from SUDS, and those who are struggling to rejoin society after serving their time in prison. I would also love to build harm reduction centers. People deserve to feel like humans, and living on the streets and struggling through addiction can be the most dehumanizing experiences a person goes through. Story 2. If I had unlimited money, I wouldn't work. I'd travel, try new food. If somehow I ever got bored of that, I'd guess I'd open restaurants, but would leave running them to someone else. I'd just pop in to eat every now and then. I'd also watch a shit ton of TV and movies. Story 3. Land restoration. Buy up large plots of overgrazed, overused, and abandoned land. Money not an issue, multiple square miles of area, and hire people. Bring in native plants and create water catches to slow and diffuse water back into the natural aquifer. If there are proper streams and they would be proper, bring back in beavers to help create wetlands and natural biodiversity. It might take decades, but restore land to a better, more natural state that is better for the animals and for mankind in the future. Trust me, I could go into so much more detail and post a thesis on the subject, but I think you get the idea. Story 4. If money wasn't an issue, I'd dedicate my time to teaching and mentoring aspiring writers. I'd start a nonprofit organization focused on providing free writing workshops, resources, and one-on-one coaching to underprivileged communities. Are you a budding writer with a story to tell but lack the guidance and tools to do it? I'd love to help you find your voice. I believe everyone has a story worth sharing, and I'd make it my mission to help those stories come to life. That would be my dream if money wasn't an issue. Story 5. Build a workshop, and then wood and simple metalworks. The money not an issue here is I need to invest, and I don't know that I can support myself on that kind of work, especially when I'm new. Alternatively, local home automation. No cloud, need equipment, research, and probably a non-trivial amount of coding if I want an answer for everything. Though the majority of the work will be the actual physical act of installing stuff. Same problems with money. Need investment, training, and no guaranteed income. Story 6. I want to own a bookstore, but different. I want model trains to ride around the building both on the outside and on the inside, 24/7. So mid-rainstorm, there's trains chugging along. I want to get creative, like make different sections look interesting rather than just a sign. So like half bookstore, half miniature wonderland, like the one in Germany. Story 7. Either a professional student or a cashier, LOL. I've always had so much fun being a cashier. It's stupid, but it's like playing a game. Even when it's insanely busy, it's never hard. Customers can be annoying, but you just have to ignore them or get a manager. For the professional student, I wish I could just stay in uni forever. Sometimes it gets rawly hard, but it's so satisfying to finish a course and know you finally passed. Story 8. Slumbermeister or POTUS. At this point, being under the age of 70 would get you like 30% of the vote immediately, and not being attracted to minors would get a solid 20-30% more. The fact that I actually care about my country, and not just about making some petty profits at the cost of the stability of the average American, would make me the second president to be elected by a unanimous vote. Story 9. Musician. I'll get all the gear I would need, this is why money is an issue, and would probably do a bunch of side projects in different genres. I would join a hardcore band that gigs, would do some sort of rock, modern, metal project with a homie of mine, do some sort of metal project with another homie, I would do some sort of gentcore bedroom guitar project, etc. Story 10. I really want to be a landscape photographer. My country has some beautiful scenes within every place, beautiful integration of architecture and nature, and some seriously amazing, albeit small, empty fields where you can just sit and relax. I would love to take my camera, some spare SD cards, and travel around the country, documenting the various people and their lifestyles, the open fields, the crammed streets, and everything in between. Story 11. Care for people with terminal diseases. I'm trying to find a job from 4 months, so I will definitely send money as an issue for me. But if money wasn't an issue for me, I would definitely want to care for people with terminal diseases. In the past 4 months, along with distributing resumes, I spent so much time volunteering and I loved it. Do you know what is the saddest part? Several people with terminal disease have no family to care for them, or even if they have family doesn't want to care. Story 12. I would probably detail cars. I've been working in architecture and bartending on the weekends since I got out of college in 2015, and always knew I had a knack for keeping things clean and organized. My favorite job in high school was working at a car wash down the street from my house, And I've always had this thought that I can take some savings and start a detail shop once I get settled. Story 13. Honestly, I'd probably lend a helping hand. Like, you got a project and ideas, you need somebody to help make it happen? I'm your guy. You need help setting up an elaborate proposal, man. Let's get you hitched. You got some yard work that needs doing, I'll be your labor. You want to talk shit to your neighbor because he roots for a sorry team? I'll back you up and laugh at all your zingers and roll my eyes when he cheers for his sorry-ass team. You want to take your woman out, but Uber isn't pimp status. I'll catch a cab to your place and chauffeur you in your own vehicle. Imbibe to your heart's content. I just want to help people be happier, except your neighbor with the sorry sports team, LOL. Story 14. I currently do admin work for a school, but if money wasn't a problem and I could work anywhere and live comfortably, I would go back to being a CNA at a convalescent home. The elderly are so overlooked in those places and very lonely. The abuse they would have to endure from terrible cold-hearted CNAs was horrible. I cared for each and every one of my residents and would do as much as I could to make their quality of life better. I'd even go on my days off and take my son to visit them, and they would light up. I miss that job. Even the gross stuff like changing diapers I miss. It was all just heartwarming and fulfilling to be able to help someone who could no longer help themselves. No other job has given me that feeling. Unfortunately, the pay was very little for as much hard work as CNAs do, and with another child on the way, I had to quit and find a better paying job to support us. Story 15. I'd just woodwork and make a bunch of cool stuff and I'd sell it at a farmer's market or something. I'd also use reclaimed wood from contracting companies ruining old houses and buildings. I knew someone who was remodeling a house. The owner was ripping out extremely rare koa wood from the floors and told the guy to just throw it out. All that flooring would have been worth a fortune. He handed out to friends and the wood shop at the local high school. Made a cool bowl out of it. Can't imagine how much good woods ends up in landfills. Story 16. Honestly, I think I'd be a teacher, high school physics if I got my say. So many people are left with negative impressions because of poorly taught classes, and I would like to think I could blend intuition, math, and practical understanding in a hands-on, engaging environment. Plus, having the ability to support and nurture students as they try to find their passions, values, and identities would be super cool. I think I could deal with wild students, unsupportive parents and admins, or low pay, but not all three. I wanted to be able to support a family, so engineering it was, which, to be clear, I am also super passionate about. But maybe someday. Story 17. If I still had to have a career, it would probably the one I have, teachin'. The hours are agreeable, the kids are fun, and summers off are an undeniable draw. It would be nice to feel like I didn't have to, or that I was locked in by the promise of a pension. Thanks for helping me put this in perspective. As long as I have to work, it might as well be the work I already do. On a related note, for Americans, including myself, can we all push for putting apostrophes and quotation marks before the final period like they do in Europe? I get that it's not aesthetically pleasing, but it's so much more logical. I'd also like to normalize the use of y'all in the Northeast. It's useful. Story 18. An actual famous musician. I want my band to be known across the world. I want to offer cheap ticket prices and shows that'll knock your boots off. I want to live the tour van bus life. Album tour, album tour. It's all I want to really do. I'll become stupidly rich and spend it all in one night on things, services, assassinations that actually fix this God-forsaken world we live in. Buy millions of houses and give them to people who are struggling to buy a place and living in slavery to barely get by on overpriced rent. I think you get the point. This is a grand passion of mine. Story 19, IDK if it is just me or it is really common here in the Philippines, but most of the people I know pursue profession in the field of engineering and medicine, typical Asian upbringing. I am guilty to this upbringing. But if money is not an issue, I will pursue profession in the field of arts, specifically multimedia arts. However, the work in the field of arts is not generally accepted as a profession in the PH. It came across as a low-income profession to most of the parents. That is why parents tend to tell their children to reconsider their decisions. Story 20. I would create a school that is the best in my country, the best facilities, the best teachers, the best resources and educational materials, a very healthy and delicious cafeteria menu. All the best, but that the school is aimed only at low-income children who are in a situation of very high poverty, and I would guarantee them everything, that they do not have to pay a single cent, a bus to take them back and forth, pedagogical outings. I would give them backpacks, lunch boxes, and all the materials in addition to uniforms. I would have psychologists for them. I would teach them at least a second language and sign language, They would have fun extracurricular activities, a school garden, and when they graduate, I would look for my school had agreements with good universities where they could receive scholarships. Story 21. I'd own a food truck where I only sell basic grilled cheeses, white bread, butter, 2 slices of Kraft Singles, bags of original Ruffles, and cans of Coke, Coke Zero, and water bottles. $1 per item unless you get the combo, grilled cheese, can of pop, or the water bottle, and a bag of Ruffles. That will be $2. The grilled cheeses will be between medium and well done. No requests, no substitutions, no refunds. Shit's $1. Get over it. Limit 1 item of each type per customer. Every so often I may get the hankering to make something different. That day will be a special. Only that item, aside for it, can of Coke, Coke Zero, or a bottle of water. The special will be priced between $10.15 for the combo depending on what it is. I will post a notification that a special is coming and the price 7 days in advance so regular customers can plan to spend $10.15 instead of $2 for lunch. This is important because I plan to post up near college campuses, so my customers will be broke. Story 22. Social work. Was a social worker, have a degree, but changed fields because the salary just wasn't enough, even in a 2-income household. And this was before inflation got really awful. I recently looked at salaries for the last social work jobs I had, and they've increased so little I can't fathom trying to get by on that salary now, especially being a single parent. I've got a soft and compassionate heart, and always will. I'll never make as much as I deserve in terms of skill and smarts because I still need to do something at least connected to helping vulnerable people, but I just can't afford to help people directly as a social worker. Story 23. I would own a little cafe with a large, crowded bookstore in the back and live above it. I'd bring tea and coffee to readers hidden in cozy little nooks in the bookstore and always bring them their next book based on their preferences. I'd never charge them for the tea or coffee or treats and let the devoted readers borrow books anytime they like, knowing they'll bring it back. I'd find the rare books for the ones looking and pile up the classics for the ones needing comfort and familiarity. I'd hope to become a little bit of magic needed in the lives of those who come in. Story 24. I love animals, but unfortunately most pets, rabbits, birds, hamsters, etc., are just not given the correct care they need in captivity, and pet shops don't properly educate people. I'd love to just spend my life advocating for proper care of these guys, or even opening a pet shop that actually sells proper items and gives correct information. Parrots are especially close to my heart, but are so often mistreated with uneducated owners. Story 25. Directing big-budget movies and possibly big-budget television. But the reality is that money is the biggest issue, because if I want to make a film exactly the way I want to make it, I need the bones to do so. Much in the same way that if said film is made, but isn't making bank at the box office, it'll be even harder to command a budget of the same size moving forward, let alone an even bigger budget, which is the ideal. So, director-producer is the best answer here, given I could keep throwing money at projects I want to make, but I'm definitely in it for a profit too, so IDK. Otherwise, maybe space stuff involving psychic alien hotties, suits, and plasma weapons. Fuck K to the yes. Story 26. Honestly, I'd love to be an assistant to, like, a genius type. Someone who I really believed in their vision, like if they were coming up with a new clean energy source or some other science thing that would really help people. I'd learn all their habits and how they like things, learn about what they're doing and what they need, and try to have everything set up so that they can just do their genius shit every day and not have to worry about the little stuff like food or forms to fill out or life stuff. Like have their coffee waiting for them. Order all the supplies needed, and have them arranged in a way that was easy for them to navigate. Input the data they have into easy-to-read graphs and spreadsheets. Have food they like ready the moment they need a break. Tidy up for them, etc. I don't think I'm smart enough to ever come up with something that could change the world, but I love supporting the people in my life by studying them to figure out how to be the best friend or family possible. Story 27. I'd be a writer, actor. I've always been in love with being on stage, and it's one of the few things that spark actual joy in me. Recently, I've gotten really into writing, and it gives me the same feeling acting does. But it's really hard to turn it into a successful career. You've got to move somewhere that has vast opportunities. It's good to get an education in the subject, which cost a lot. And sometimes you've got to spend money to submit yourself for things. Story 28. doctor or surgeon. It's all about money and business, and it would be nice to be able to help everyone instead of working for a hospital that does everything they can to get rid of uninsured patients and charge good insured people lots of money and whatever they want. Healthcare in America is a joke at this point. They don't want to help you unless you've got insurance, and a lot of jobs either don't provide insurance but you make too much to get Medicaid, but private insurance costs just about as much as a doctor visit or two a month. It's crazy. If money wasn't an issue, I'd save lives or go help people who don't have access or funds or resources to do it themselves. It's all about making money for these hospitals, remember that. Story 29. None are some low-key farmer like I would care for sheeps and cows and grow fruits and sell them on a market. I know actual farmers' jobs are extremely demanding and it's really not easy, but if I didn't have to care about money, I would do just enough to have fresh produce. My extra supply I would give away or sell to people who want some, for a good and fair price, maybe a chef or something. And I would do other stuff on the side, maybe paint or write a book, or build furniture. I would try to live like a hobbit, sort of. Eat good food, enjoy nature, live slowly, take naps anytime I want, and spend time with less humans, still some, but only the people I want, not be friendly and nice to everyone. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, like it. Be sure to write comments and share your stories.